Hey guys, this is my Mod 3 assignment. The three people I interviewed, my administrator, we actually don't have a director of special education right now. Roseanne retired back in September. We haven't really hired anybody for that role yet. We have an interim. I don't know her. She's up on the hill at the elementary school. So I interviewed my high school principal. I interviewed a 7th grade special education teacher with 16 years of experience. For the paraprofessional, we don't have an in-house speech pathologist, a behavior therapist, adaptive PE, anything like that. That's through a BOCES, which is basically provides those things to a school that doesn't want to hire them on like a daily basis. You know, they're here once or twice a week. So I did interview a 1-to-1 aide for an 8th grade student with autism. So the procedures for finding children with special education issues. The administrator, Kevin said 504 plans. You can look at those from other schools, but just basically go off of teacher and parent recommendations, those that see the kids on a daily basis. The SPED teacher did say that observations of students, if they push into a classroom, they do see a kid struggling, might not get anything, writing is different. They're going to maybe send an email home. Parent involvement, if a parent comes to them, is a big way they find it. And just prior teacher evaluations. And for the paraprofessional, for the aide, I'll just call her an aide for now. And for the aide, she said 1-to-1 observations. She is with an autistic student. So 1-to-1 observations, you're going to see different issues that student has. Might just not have autism, but might have dyslexia or something like that. And when the tests are read to certain students that do have special education qualifications, she is able to see other problems that they might have. Most challenging part of the job for the administrator it was the paperwork. It was the legal paperwork. There's a lot that goes into it. 504s, IEPs, filling them out at the end of the year, and discipline of SPED students, taking into account that they are dealing with other issues that regular ed students aren't, but they still have to be disciplined. The SPED teacher said that pushing into classrooms where teachers feel it's their room, they're not willing to adapt or listen to their suggestions, listen to their help. She had a student one time that's in a room she was pushing in. She gave the teacher a way to adapt their lesson, and the teacher didn't do it, and the student really struggled. Teachers who lose track of 504s, IEPs don't really implement them fully. Class sizes, where there's inclusion, in this day and age of inclusion and not really self-contained classes, but inclusion classes, having classrooms, and we have them here of 25, 26, 27. I have a class of 31. It's a nightmare. And finally, dealing with parent complaints. And finally, the aide said pushing into the rooms is a problem, learning what a lot of these students go through on a daily basis, especially at home, and again, parent complaints. The admin said most rewarding part for him is just seeing a special ed student graduate, walk off the stage, go to college, seeing them accomplish their goals is awesome. The SPED teacher said that, when they just see that light bulb go off in class, when what they're doing is working, what strategies they're using seem to work that day, and see the student finally get it. And finally, the aide, being able to get those SPED students through their daily struggles, which aren't necessarily in the classroom, but they're more so at home, maybe separate parents, things that exacerbate their issues. Supervision of SPED staff. The admin, my principal said he's going to lean on staff, a director of special ed, to oversee the department, somebody with more experience who's just better at it than what he is. SPED teacher said, have clear written expectations, understand that just because a kid is failing doesn't mean they have not improved. They're not measured in their number grades, so be understanding, all right, when supervising SPED staff that, we're actually doing our job, even if the kid hasn't gotten a 75. He may have had a 20 last time and improved to a 40. That's pretty good improvement for a SPED student. And for the aide, they're not supervised or observed, so they weren't really sure or concerned. This was a big one, working effectively with parents. Be upfront, the admin. And I think this goes for all problems, though, as our principal said. And be in constant communication with them, have an email chain, something like that. SPED teacher realize parents just want what's best for their child. they may go about it in the wrong way. But if you involve them, have constant communication, be trustworthy, and just be honest, and always keep updating them on what's going on, they'll tend to see your side of it. And the aide kind of said on a different side, SPED students can be different based upon the days they spend with each parent. If they're separated, her autistic student is really good with the mother, but then has really bad days in class when he stays at his dad's house and dad and stepmom. So dealing with that, certain parents are better with SPED students than others. So, communicate that with those other teachers. All right, she's a one-to-one aide. She sees him on a daily basis and very close contact. So be able to communicate those things to a special ed and a regular ed teacher. My principal said when you're dealing with a regular teacher, they might not be as equipped. He might want to have more professional development to get them on their level, to be more inclusive of students, but make sure they're following all state guidelines, have legal updates, 504s, IEPs. The SPED teacher, have constant collaboration, maybe a meeting once or twice a month. We have them on Wednesdays here, once a month, parent meetings, email chains with other teachers. Any concerns? What do you see from this one? What do you see from this one? Do they need a lab? Do they need that? All right. And for the aide, just talk to teachers sometimes. It's not the worst to pull students that for Thomas, the autistic student, sometimes for a walk, if he can't sit still, having a bad day, he needs to cool down and let him back into the room, as opposed to blowing up on him, having some patience. For first-year administrators, be real, be yourself, be confident in your skills. My principal said, and it's helpful to have a vision, all right, and that you get others to buy into that vision, but be visible as well, be around, be friendly. For the special ed teacher, she said that administrator ask for help or advice. You might not be as skilled in dealing with special ed students as you are administration. So, nothing's going to change overnight. People don't like change, so be patient. But if you do want to change things or see how things go, be firm, but be patient. And for the aide, she didn't really have any experience with that. Role of the SPED teacher and administration, I know it's covered up, but it's really nothing I can do with that. So the admin, set a clear vision, trust others, but be involved in the happenings, know what's going on. So if you do get a phone call, you're ready to have an answer for that problem, get rundowns of new issues, work well with others. The SPED teacher said that administrators, you must work with administrators, get them to buy into the teacher's vision. As the SPED teachers have the most close involvement, they do know on a daily basis the needs of every student that they have, whether it's an inclusion student, a self-contained student, somebody like that, an autistic student, ADD, that SPED teacher, the aide knows firsthand what that student needs. So tell the administrator. And admin, for the aide, she said that the administration should trust the judgment of lower level staff. They deal with those kids on a daily basis. And characteristics for special ed administrators. Kevin was clear that he wasn't a special ed administrator. He's a high school principal, but he said, be patient, understanding, lean on other people. Don't think that you have all the answers. You want to be clear and well-spoken, have a good personality, and you're open to those new ideas and strategies. Special ed teacher said, kind of echoed the same thing, and that's kind of my evaluation for this, is be trusting. Kind of everybody said, trust somebody else that not everybody has all the answers, so trust somebody else. Somebody else might have a different opinion or a different strategy that might work for one student and not another. So trust other people, be open and be willing. So for my evaluation, it would be most said trust others. And for the aide, she said be friendly. Kids are always wanting to talk. We have a student with he's got a disability. He struggles to walk. I don't know exactly what he has. But he's very friendly, always wants to talk about video games or sports or whatever. So fake interest, even if you have to, if you have no interest in what they're talking about, just be willing to talk and be friendly. So for my evaluation, I did say, you must trust others, be willing to listen, to their opinions and in their advice. And for myself, personally, as a projection for my future, I will not be going into special ed, and I will not be going into administration. Or at least educational administration. I'll be going into athletic administration. This is a degree that you need in New York in order to do that. So that is why I'm taking this class. As an AD, I'll really only need to know special ed for unified sports. My lights went off in my room. They're motion detected. Gonna have to deal with that. And and I'm caught off track here. And so for unified sports, you have autistic kids, that can take part in that. But other than that, I don't really have to deal with any problems as the athletic director, any issues with special education.